Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Allevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. Crop activity in the southern hemisphere will be the primary focus with the USDA's World Agricultural Supply and Demand estimates this month.
December is traditionally a time of transition for USDA's World Agricultural Supply and Demand estimates.
We don't get any new information from NASS on U.S. crop size, the supply side of the balance sheets. On the other hand, we do start focusing pretty heavily on the southern hemisphere crops. Wheat harvests in Argentina, Australia are well underway. Closely watching progress on first crop corn and the soybean crop in Brazil.
World Agricultural Outlook Board Chair Mark Jekanowski says one piece of new information for the December WASDE.
Since we had the shutdown in October, we are still getting some kind of delayed data from that period, catching up on export sales data that would have been released in October that's now starting to come out.
The December global supply and demand estimates and U.S. crop production reports are scheduled for release this Tuesday, noon Eastern Time. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent extended an earlier deadline for Beijing's purchases of American soybeans from December to February. Bessent said China is on pace to meet its pledge to buy 12 million metric tons of U.S. soybeans by the end of February. Bloomberg said Bessent was asked about soybean purchases and the time left before the end of the year, to which the secretary clarified that the target was the end of season, which would be February 28th. Reuters said the USDA confirmed 2.25 million tons of Chinese purchases to date for shipment in the 2025-2026 marketing year that ends August 26th. A 2-week stretch of precipitation in parts of the country have made a dent in U.S. drought coverage from mid-November to early December.
Significant improvements in drought coverage for the nation over the past 2 weeks. USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey says the U.S. Drought Monitor for the period ending December 2nd shows
about 41.4% of the country still in drought. We are seeing drought coverage down approximately 5 percentage points. We were greater than 46% both on October 21st and November 18th.
Rippey acknowledging the 41% drought coverage number remains formidable.
We have seen U.S. drought coverage greater than 40% each week since mid-September of 2025. So it certainly has been an autumn where we have been dealing with considerable drought on the landscape.
Yet precipitation in recent weeks has chipped away at the drought number over the fall. Regions seeing significant rain and snow include much of the West, South, Midwest, and Northeast. I'm Ron Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins announced major updates to federal crop insurance, reducing red tape for farmers, modernizing long-standing policies, and expanding access to critical risk protection beginning with the 2026 crop year. And Merck Animal Health announced that the Food and Drug Administration granted conditional approval for a new topical that's approved for the prevention and treatment of infestations caused by New World screwworm larvae, as well as treatment and control of cattle fever tick. Merck also received market authorization in Mexico to prevent and treat the New World screwworm, to help control and spread the parasite and protect cattle. The markets, they're next.
Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on December 16th and 17th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from close to 3,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, semi-trucks, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on December 16th and 17th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com.
So many things that can have an impact on agriculture are out of the farmer's control. Yet when the weather doesn't cooperate, markets go lower, or equipment breaks down, the farmer blames themselves. Hi, I am Nathan Brown, a Highland County farmer and a member of the Ohio Farm Bureau Board of Trustees. If you or someone you know is struggling with stress on the farm, text 4HOPE to 741-741 or go visit gotyourbackohio.org. A message from the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation.
The market's brought to you by Seed Consultants, simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com. At the Board of Trade, December corn, $4.36 1/4, down 1/2. March corn, $4.43 3/4, down 1. January beans, $10.93 3/4, down 11 1/2. March beans, $11.05 3/4, down 10 1/4. December wheat, $5.36, down 1 1/2. At the Mercantile Exchange, December cattle, $227.32, up 17 cents. December hogs, $82.30, up 65 cents. March feeder cattle, $330.42, down $2.87. This is the Ohio AgNet.